Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. And I'll switch it over to my co-host, Tina. Greetings, Tina.
Hello, Tommy. My name's Tina Bird here in Southampton in the UK. And on Counters this week, we have the truth behind alien agendas. We have Tommy Hawksblood, my co-host, who's in the lovely location Hawaii where he lives. So we have lots of information for you tonight, and we're going to really get into it straight off the bat. So, Tommy, over to you.
All right. Now, Tina, you could say whatever you want. You could say whatever you said to me. We keep this up to par. We give you every fact that we know that we can talk about or find. I'm kind of weird in a weird space because I've been listening to Ancient Aliens last night, a couple of workshops, lectures, movies, and everything that everybody's putting out there. And that's what I'm going to get in today. And that's why I say the truth about alien agenda. The mainstream UFO world's being distracted and pulled into all these other veins, which I didn't even get a chance to talk to Tina about in any mainstream because I've just got everything set up now. But we're going to talk about it. If she has to leave early, she will. But I'm going to keep this until we get to everything that I need to talk about today. But the main thing is what they expect to happen with aliens coming here. All right. Ancient Aliens on TV last night was ridiculous. I mean, I listened to Corey Good, her new videos out, and Stephen Greer, all these people. I'm going to get into what they want, what they tell, and what people believe is going to happen. All right. And what that is we're going to change ourselves into the light body and talk to aliens. All right. Just what we all need. But I'm going to get into that in detail. But do you have anything you want to say? Tell them what you just told me, Tina.
So, guys, here in the UK, lots of different things have been affecting us. And it's all kind of surmounted in one kind of collective hit on the UK. So we've come out of the pandemic for COVID, but it's still going on and still affecting us. We've got like a third, fourth, sixth wave, and it will continue to carry on. Now we have monkeypox in the UK. We have 72 cases spreading, and people can die from monkeypox. I think it's 3.6%. So we have that to continue with, contend with as well. And also on the news platform on the internet today, lots of people in the UK, and especially with the last few weeks, especially a few months, it's been like an ongoing effect. But it was announced today that government have drawn up contingency plans about use for the internet. The internet will have blackouts across the UK and British Isles. So they would have feathered blackouts on the UK, on your internet and Wi-Fi. Whether that's to stop people communicating, I'm not quite sure what the reason is. If it's a changeover in the internet system, I can't see how it is affecting so many people in the UK because Wi-Fi travels through the air. I know all the logistics and everything else of it. So we're going to suffer Wi-Fi. It doesn't say electrical blackouts. It just says we will get feathered internet blackouts across the UK. So if I were talking to you one day and I should disappear, don't panic. Is that we probably might have had internet blackout in my region. And we were lots of things have been going on between Russia and Ukraine seem to have died down. As you're aware of, Russia's at war with Ukraine, which isn't far. It's literally to the right and over a bit, just over the other side of mainland of Europe. And so I think it's sort of Sweden and Finland now are going to join NATO, which brings other complications with it. So we're kind of in it with the rest of them. So we're all eyes are on the Ukrainian war at the moment. But there's loads of other things coming out. I know Tommy wants to talk about like the Jeremy Corbell thing with, I think it's been 54 years of the, so this has been a public briefing. There's only 2 members from the military there. And there's no scientists like Dr. Travis Taylor wasn't there. There's no other, people to ask questions or answer questions. They may have plenty of questions they would like answered. And I know they went into a private session, but it should say at least the questions that they were going to ask that wasn't, they didn't have to answer them. It just said, we are asking these questions, but they didn't say that. But I have, other theories. And you've got other scientists today coming out like Dr. or Professor Brian Cox saying aliens are observable in the universe. So if that's the case, we'd like to know where they're coming from. That's what I think the next step is. And We also have a gentleman with a pulsar fusion rocket that wants mankind to leave our universe. We can't even master our world, let alone our star system, without creating more mess and crashing into a planet and causing more problems with a pulsar fusion rocket leaving our universe, hitting God knows what. But Tommy, over to you.
All right. I just want to say, the UFO people out there, I send my link to everybody speaking out there as well. Most of them are afraid to listen. They don't want to hear the truth. But you're not going to hear the same thing anywhere else except here. And I promise you that. And the reason why all these UFO people have been in the UFO world for what, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. I've been in it since I was 6 years old, and that was 1958. So I've been in it a long time. I was dealing with actual UFOs, people, aliens, people that have been abducted since then. So it's not like I just stepped into it, heard a bunch of people, and then said I'm going to be a UFO speaker. All right. I don't follow everybody else's story because most of them are just that. I don't care if people say, well, I had an experience. An experience is okay, but did you prove it to yourself? Can you prove it was real? Can you prove it wasn't a government implant or an alien implant or anything else? All right. So now the agenda is the main word that I want to deal with today. Mankind believes, I don't know why, that aliens are more spiritual, higher dimensional beings than we are. Now, let me try to explain this. The movie The Matrix is a good way to look at reality. We can change our vibration. We can change the way we vibrate. But the most serious thing, which I hear now over the past couple months, is becoming super powerful, using super abilities and all that, which Corey Good is pressing to the max, saying we can change our light and change the vibration. We can change reality. That's funny. With all these words being said, we're in the worst condition this planet has ever been in. We're very close to going to war with China as well right now. And they're talking about raising our vibration and being super powerful. To do what? You're going to take out the government and create your own government? They control us. We don't control them, people.
I think so, Tommy. People miss the bigger picture. We can't help each other on this planet. Why do you want to make contact with an alien race that you can't help? Why aren't the efforts into helping other human beings? With just touches humanity, helping other people in other countries, not go to war, just help them with a bit of food. If they want to, laws should be changed in different countries. I'm not dictating. That's down to other people. But we can't even help the common man and women and children in this world. Until we do that, giant step for mankind. Yes, science and that should be striving for ways forward to help mankind. But to be realistic, to be, work in this reality, we can't help people in Ethiopia. We can't help people in Africa or Iceland or New Zealand or in China. Some people that are starving to death right now in other countries that we can't fly to. These people don't even have basic food anymore. So you need to start helping each other first. It looks so bad.
Right.
You want to make friends with someone else when you can't even help your neighbours out.
See, the government's plan is allow something to take over our minds so that we don't think about what's really happening. This whole thing about, what are we talking about? People's personal problems. Right now that's the biggest issue in the United States. And it's covering up everything else, which is ridiculous. All right. We have countries like we're talking about, we're getting ready to go to war against China. All right. Defending Taiwan and things like that. So now the government knows about the whole alien project. The secret government as well should know, and they do. But that information is not going to come out the way people want it to. For one, the true alien agenda is not going to come out public because they can't tell the world what they want, because it's not what we want. People want good aliens to come here and help us. High dimensional beings to help us become higher dimensional beings, which is, we're in a matrix, people. No matter what you do with the light, no matter what psychic or superpowers you have, what do you think you're going to change? Think about it. Levitation, clairvoyancy. If you could project something, or if you can even read the future for 1 minute in advance, you can change reality. Imagine millions of people all changing their reality within 1 minute.
Hold on, abductees have been changing reality for many, many years. Abductees have been saying before the science and technology aliens are real, and the government's been denying it. They're telling them when aliens are coming in. They're telling them what aliens are saying. But people aren't listening. We are changing reality, but
Well,
people.
what I meant, if you can read the future, you could stop an airplane crash, you could stop a bombing, you could stop a lot of different things before it happens.
Well, I'm
If
telling you,
we,
I've been telling you for years. The others are coming, if not they're here already, and we ain't going to like what they're doing. And at this present time, it really feels like we're close to them being here.
well, when you listen to Corey Good and Stephen Greer and the whole UFO world about, they don't talk about what's really happening ever. They don't talk about the bad things, which alien abduction is all about. It's not good. And they talk about good parts of it. Sure, they'll mention it, but they rather talk about the experiences who had a great experience in space with aliens. I say that all the time. But no, we're in a change of reality. And the
When people say
reality is not
it's
changing.
good all the time, they're just lying and denying themselves. You can't be good all the time. You can't be awake all the time. It's 50-50, give and take, and they're just looking at one side of it. That's a narrow-minded view. I'm not saying all abductions are horrific. The one I experienced was horrific, and I remember that and everything else. But I know everyone else's is different, and I admit that. But I'm not so blind to myself and lied to myself saying they're all going to be horrendous and nasty. Of course they're not, but they're all not going to be good, living in light in their hill to help us. So that, I think, in a very narrow-minded view, if you think they're all positive. Sorry.
Well, I just listened to a lady this morning, and she's a hypnotist, and she's working with abductees. And I was surprised. Every word she said is everyone she brings back had a horrible time. They're taking DNA, they're taking blood, they're taking semen, they're taking ovaries, and that's what she talked about. I was surprised she admitted all that. She goes, all the people, and she's been working with thousands of people, and it's the same story. So that goes against everything about the good experiences, the good things that happen. Now, I will tell you this. I know for a fact an alien race that abducts a person can also program a person to believe whatever they want. So their agenda, what they're doing, is to cover up what we know their agenda is. They have been coming here for a long time, thousands and thousands of years, right? So if they wanted to help us, don't you think they would have anywhere along that time frame? And then second of all, what kind of help do you think they could give us? They're going to tell Russia that they have to love us and we have to love China and China should love Tibet. I mean, you can hear anything like that. Tibet begged the United States for help for years and nobody helped them.
I
And
mean,
China just,
don't forget all these be. So I've got another question here. I think you've kind of knocked it on the head a bit. So during one of my experiences on being abducted, now, like you said, everyone's getting on together. These beings can't and won't get on together. When one of the scenarios, right, I was on this bench, and there's these. So from what I can see, these little ones, the jelly baby ones, works in groups of 3. They only talk to kind of each other, and they're limited in their link. So they have like a Wi-Fi link, just supposing their communication or their telepathy is a Wi-Fi. This is the best I can explain. It's like a Wi-Fi link, okay? And they've all got little chips in their head. And so the little 3 beings have limited Wi-Fi. Okay, then the taller white being, the one that teaches them or works with them, or they work with him, can communicate with them and others. Now, the little ones aren't supposed to communicate with anyone else apart from other little ones. So there is like a hierarchy there. And when the bigger ones communicate, they can communicate with other bigger ones. It's all out in like a mainstream, like an open stream. So they're all communicating with each other. Now, the little ones know that they're not allowed to communicate with the other ones. So they have like a limited Wi-Fi on like another level, like a different lower frequency, if you like. So these high beings, so they don't connect with each other. They don't connect with other little groups. So they are no, I don't know the right word for it. I can't get it out. So they work separately in their own little compartments. And so that's not equality or working together. They all have a different little purpose, and they're all doing their own little thing. Now, when I was on this, when I was laid there, and they took me in this room, this creature, it came out. I thought I was going to die. when it came over me. They were frightened of it. They were frightened of that creature. They weren't communicating with that creature. How it communicates with them, I don't know. It didn't want to communicate with me, and it didn't want to communicate. There was no little white ones. They were all tall, medium white ones, and there were a few little ones right at the back. So the closest ones, like the one I know, the one who knows me, wasn't that far away, but far enough. It didn't want to be close to it. So let's not blind ourselves by saying they're all goodness and light and they communicate and they can live in harmony. These creatures that took me did not want to be near that bigger creature. So they were either scared of it, which they masked, but they were stood back and huddled together as if they were scared. They did not want to be in the same room as it. They're like, they kind of left me off out there, sacrificed me and left me to get on with it. And I thought I was going to die. So they don't all get on. That's a myth, or someone's made up, or that's a miscommunication. They don't all get on. They do show feelings of fear, whether they're not afraid of us. So that's why they should yours, because you could easily overpower one. They look that small and thin and brittle, but they're very quick. But they did not want to be near that long thing, so they don't communicate with each other. There is a hierarchy in effect, and there's some things that they did not want to be in the room with that thing, but they were working with it on their ship or wherever they took me. So that's a falsehood. They don't get on. Tommy.
All right. Remember, in the world of UFOs, there's multiple races here, obviously. But the number one thing is, who is in power? Who has the strongest weapon? They are in power. Now, when the Greys came here, the reptilians, the Nordics, the Anunnaki, all those races, then you got the reptilians and all that. But the Mantis control most of the reptilians and Greys. All right, they're the highest power in that realm of aliens. But then you got the Andromedans, Syrians, and all the other races. But if they sneak here and get in and do whatever they can't do much at all. Because they all believe in the law of non-interference, which is the most spiritual law in this realm. They can't interfere, and
they do.
Well, no. I said the Greys, reptilians, and all them do. I'm saying like the Andromedans and the Caesarians, they can't, and they don't. Now we have two people here still from Venus. Now she did nothing the whole time she's been here, and she came here when I guess she was 6 years old. The guy that went to the White House, Thor. Yeah. He proved he had powers, but he didn't help mankind either. So about aliens coming here and what they're going to do, what they're going to help us with. What do you think you need help with? Your relationship, having children, feeding them, getting them milk to drink? Look at the things that's being created that are not real. Just about everything going on. And we got Johnny Depp's story going on for months about a love battle. Okay, that's so important. It's on the internet, on every station, AOL, whatever, and it's all you see is that story over and over. Well, this might be the last week of the court case, but who cares? And it wasn't even anything dangerous. It's just a personal judgment of character. So, but they're not talking about the main things, like this whole milk shortage, which is another programmed idea. Now we're going to buy milk from other countries. They shut down all our factories in the United States to buy from other countries. It's a program that's going into UN Agenda 21.
Tommy, that's happening. Now, what Tommy's just said is correct. That's not just happening in Hawaii. That's happening the whole way. People, we need to wake up. Something is happening to our planet or our atmosphere right now. Governments in every single country in the world obviously had a meeting. They're not telling the public. And they're doing this in every single country. Something's either coming that they're not telling us about or they can't control. Fair enough. But they're doing this either as a preservation measure. Surely. We didn't have, all of a sudden, there's a line and no one can have nothing go nowhere because there's a shortage. If anything, after not doing anything, you'd have an access of everything.
We don't have a shortage. They're trying to say it's not safe, so they're going to take milk from other countries. But here's the thing, people.
Why isn't it safe?
They're saying there's some toxic chemicals in there or something. And now they're going to take milk from other countries. Are they going to test everyone and see what it is, what it's composed of and all that? But here's the thing, people. Things are happening. And I saw this multiple days over the past 2 weeks. There's the sun having so much incredible UFO activity ever in history. Fleets of ships are coming out. Fleets, not one, two. There was a video about the triangle box that came out of it. but there's fleets of ships coming out of all sides of the sun. All right, and they're forming these massive lines and stuff. So I can film ships and everything here in Hawaii most of the time, but I haven't seen the stars in 2.5 months for
Yeah.
one night.
Just to know what Tommy just said there, my brother was out the other day camping the other evening. So this is about 9:30 in Evesham in England. So if you look above the tree line there, he's camping with a tent. Do you see those things in the sky, the white dots? See them like a triangle, and then that one coming down. That one there, and that one there. See
I
it?
can see one. I can see one. Yes. Oh, now I see all three. Stay right there.
Yeah.
Yes. Check it out. You can see them, right, people?
Yeah.
And
And
it's not nighttime.
my brother took that the other day while camping during the day as well. It's 9:30 at night. So something's going on. They're appearing all over. But what I am going to say is what I know. When they took me, they showed me that I got a chance. They asked me if I wanted to go with them. It's a kind of yes or no thing. And if I was going to go with them, I could never come back. And if I didn't, they said that I was going to die. They showed me how I was going to die. And they said that I was brave for staying here and that my DNA or my babies or whatever would live on, even though I chose to stay with my family on this planet and said that I was brave. But they showed me how the world was going to end in this huge great blasting, the fire. It was horrendous. But what they also showed me is how we came here. Now, they took me in a bubble. Sounds crazy now. They took me into a bubble to this planet. And I thought I asked a question. She didn't physically ask. You either think of an idea or they take it as read that you're speaking. And they showed me, they took me to this place. It did look like Earth, but it was many, many times. It was huge. The skyline. It looked so far away. It was like a slightly different color, the sky, but it was so huge. And they had low mountains. It wasn't high mountains. I couldn't see high mountains. And like little mountain ranges. And they had these, when they went in down over the land and down into the water, underneath the water, you could see these like huge bubbles like underwater. They look like they're these tall, thin, yellow, see-through kind of beings. And I'm not sure if it was the colour of the water, but they were all attracted to geothermic activity or water. They were all scientists, different types of them, hundreds of them, all around this part of this underwater. I'll take it as underwater volcano. And they were all busy in their little bubbles or ships, whatever they were, in these little round things. Now, they were highly interested, like bees around the hives, they were highly interested in this volcanic action or this geothermic action, whatever was happening underneath the water. But suddenly everything kind of stopped, and I was as if to say, watch what's going on. And this one of the ships got too close to the, like, I'd say what we call the Earth's mantle, or the bit in the middle, and it caused some type of reaction. I don't know what type of reaction, whether the ship imploded or exploded or whatever. I don't know how you'd explain it. And this huge grey burst of like a bubble imploded or exploded, and like all these bubbles, and I got pulled back out of the atmosphere. And then that's when I saw these huge ships dropping all these like silver balls into the, like, it was a bit like the day, not day after tomorrow, the day the Earth stood still. It was a bit like that. And they were taking everything they could. They only had like to say half an hour to the old planet exploded. But wherever we came from, that planet is something, the destruction they caused, whether that was an accident, we're here because of a mistake or something they've done. Now we're here again now, whether they put us here, we came here, they showed me that they kind of put us here. I was the closest planet to wherever we remained. And we're here because of what they did. But what I'm trying to say is they're like California. Is there some type of geothermic underwater volcano there going on? They're attracted to geothermic movement or land mass movement or volcanoes underwater. That's what whether they're using that for energy, scientific research, that they're highly interested in that. So when they said they had all these ships in California, these 10 ships that a swarm of 100 UFOs attacked or approached, perhaps people should be looking at the geothermic locations of where these UFOs are being seen. They've either got bases under there, live there, or they're attracted to the geothermic movement or energy it produces. That's all I can tell you. But surely that's something they should be listening to and listening to from abductees or anyone else, because that is something that could help the human race. This is something that is preventable if the others come here. Tommy.
All right, people. Everybody says, well, where's your pictures? Well, they were up all over the internet for years. But just type Hawaii UFOs. They're filming ships and all kinds of weird stuff over Hawaii over the past couple of weeks. Pull it up online, even coming out of where the volcano is, over the horizon and things like that. Check it out. All right. But what I want to say, I had a friend, he died a month and a half ago, John Edmonds. He owned the Stardust Ranch. It was much more important than the Skinwalker Ranch. Seriously, people. But when he died, his wife doesn't deal with that energy, and it's actually been changing a lot because there were ships, aliens, entities, all kinds of stuff on the property all the time. But she's living there safe and sound right now. But when she was living there, aliens were walking in the house and everything else. I went there with a medicine woman. I went there with a top photographer. We filmed graves there. We filmed ships and filmed entities. It was an incredible place. The Stardust Ranch, what are they proven? That there's a piece of land radioactive. I wanted to mention this to you, Tina. Did you watch that video I sent you about radiation?
No, not yet, because I've been working.
Well, you should, because the one thing they mentioned in there, the person here got exposed to radiation, and they're saying what the effects are on him. But they said the number one thing is the what do you call it, inside the bone marrow
I know.
becomes contaminated.
That's what happened to my dog. They found radiation in his bone marrow.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Tina. But they say they don't live long. And I keep telling you, they're protecting you. If you've been exposed to a large dose of radiation, which I assume you have, you're still alive, which is incredible. And I'm glad. No, and you're still walking.
I don't want to be dosed up with radiation.
But I think about that because right now, when people say they want ships and stuff, did they ever talk about radiation ever? I know in Jersey, Picatinny Arsenal was the first Army base in the United States. About 21 years ago, they created 6 super soldiers. They all had to wear radiation badges. Everybody that was in that Army base had to have a radiation badge on because those beings were super radioactive. But the radiation level was super high in this building. So, when people get, I was on a ship and all this and all that, but were they exposed to radiation? I told the story. It's based on, I was in a person's house, one of the richest people on Long Island, who actually watched the crash into the ocean. Went into the ocean. He was completely red, and so was his girlfriend. And when they called the hospital up, they said, oh, just take 3 aspirins and go to bed. Why would a hospital tell you, take 3 aspirins and go to bed if your whole body turned bright red? What kind of mental case or what kind of problem would somebody tell somebody? Why would they tell them that? They don't know what the person could be dying and, oh, take a couple aspirins and go to bed. Not get checked out, see what's going on. But they did, and they were fine the next morning. So there was already wording in the Long Island hospitals what to do if they get any calls. Because anybody that saw the ship going into the ocean got burnt. And it was like it probably looked like a first-degree burn, but it disappeared within a day, which a real first-degree burn wouldn't happen. But I'm saying radiation travels, and Tina's one of the only people that I have found and proven so far that has radiation come and go in different parts of her body, gets loud, gets high, goes down a low number, but she's still alive, and it's real. People, we don't have a fake Geiger counter. We'll do that later. But we deal with the facts here, only what I know. And why I was going to bring this up, I want Tina to go into her story a little, because people talk about this, that, and the other thing. Well, how I saw my first alien, how I saw my first ship, and how she was abducted the first time. She was little, so she really didn't understand it. I mean, in my case, I knew everything was happening. I didn't know why it was happening, but I knew what was happening. I knew at 6 years old, I was protected from all alien races. How? Why? From my past lives, from what I was in all my other lives. All right. I don't consider that a spiritual thing. I mean, it's a matter of soul, what we are, and what we are accumulating in our awareness. And not like Corey Good and all these people. raise and turn into a light being and do super powerful things. Like what? Raise the pyramids? What do you want to do with your superpowers? Eliminate Russia? What do you consider superpowers, and how are you going to use them for the better? I'm going to make my car float instead of drive it. Yeah, that would be cool, but what if everybody did that? We'd be crashing in space all over the place. So people don't understand superpowers. And I want to mention this before I give it back to Tina. When I was 14, I worked with the top psychic in the United States. She was a medium. They were called mediums in those time frames. New York City Psychic Center tested her and tested her and tested her. They wanted me to come out there. I said no. So we have one of the Don Lepore, I think was his name. He was one of the top psychics going around the United States, channeling Jesus at the time. He came to our house. We had a seance. And he wanted me to come to the psychic center. He goes, oh, we could use you there. I said, no, I don't work with fake people. Because they were dealing with low energy things. I only deal with any energy that I can connect to God, not aliens or creatures or anything else. I was getting back to the point, I became a high priest for a few years. I learned about psychic abilities. There's 32 of them. Now there's 120, but they're like throwing bones on the ground, throwing leaves on the ground, and how they fall. That, to me, that's just man's game playing. But the psychic abilities that do exist, remote viewing, astral projection, clairvoyancy, audio, and all those words that go along with it, levitation, disappearance, I mean, things like that are all real techniques. I work with a lot of them. I practice them. I never hurt a person, but we would do things to prove that they were real. I was into hypnosis. I could make people go up to a cemetery, which I did, look at a statue, and it would start chasing them, and they would all run away. So, those things, I worked through it. Again, I didn't hurt people directly. I mean, I scared them, and I made things happen in front of them to see that something's going on. But when people think, if you have an ability, any ability, it will change. This is what I mean. If somebody could see the future for 1 minute, they can go in every casino in the United States and take all their money. And they'd be the richest person on the planet within a couple of days. But see, spirit, even when I work with a Ouija board, the first time I ever picked it up, I was 6 years old with my grandmother, put her hand on it. She goes, what's the number for tomorrow? It told us. Came out right. The next day she goes, oh, what's the number for today? It wouldn't. It gave her a fake number. See, they can't change that. They're not God. They're not super angels or anything else in between. All the things that play on a Ouija board, or play these angels and spirits people claim are angels. Everybody thinks they work with Gabriel and Michael. Why? Because in the Bible, they only mention 9 angels. But in Revelation, it mentions hundreds of angels. So, but why everybody on the planet says, oh, I work with Gabriel or Michael? I mean, even the 9 basic angels, how many mention any of the other ones? They don't even know their names. So, people take what they got and they exaggerate it and twist it and make it into the greatest thing. Again, aliens aren't here for our benefit. They never will be. And going to dimensions in this reality, because you raise your vibration, you think you're raising your vibration, changing your light energy, and you're standing with a light being alien, doesn't make you better and doesn't make them better. If they were better in any way, they would help us. If you're a good person, do you push a person in front of a car? Or do you cook them in a pot and eat them? No, hopefully not. So when these people say they're so spiritual, I say, prove it. What's the word spiritual mean to you? I said unconditional love to the planet. That's what you'll usually get. Really? Did that help anybody yet? I mean, you see the starving children get fed by the food popping out of the air. Anything really good? You think these aliens?
If aliens are a friend of the planet, then they're going to hate us, aren't they? Because we're killing it.
See, I'll give it back to you.
No, I completely agree with what Tommy says.
So people, look, there's so many UFO conferences coming. I want to do one. I want to do one online, and I want to make it as cheap as possible. I mean, some people don't like to talk unless they get paid. Tina's not. I'm not. But some people won't talk unless you give them a couple dollars. But these big UFO people realize this. They want $20,000 for the 2 hours that they're going to speak.
Woo!
And when you go to dinner, oh, everybody has to sit at dinner and listen to them sitting at a table. So again, they have to have a dinner plan for them, which is always Friday night before the conference. And they get to speak for 2 hours during the conference. and you'll hear the same thing you see online on
I
anything they
am
talk.
telling you anything different for $20,000. Oh my
You
god!
don't think they could do something better, like take that money and donate it to something and help children
Out
instead
another
of feeding
country
this guy who's going
or
to
the
talk about
poor.
what somebody else said? Tina, they average anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000, and it could even be going up now. All
What?
right. Seriously, where do you think most of the money in the
This is a
conference
trick
goes to?
somewhere. I'm telling you, Jesus.
It goes to the main speaker. When Coast to Coast, what's his name, George Norrie, when they go to speak, or when it's like David Wilcock or all those people, they get paid the money. I mean, the little money that drifts out into the people organizing the conference, they don't become millionaires, they don't become rich and everything. Check these people out. So again, think about where you're going to put your money and for what reason. Are they going to tell you aliens are here to come take your life away? Of course not. Are they going to tell you they're going to come here to eat you? No. Are they going to tell them they want your children? What are they going to tell you? Oh, they're going to help you. What? Help me what? What can an alien help me do? Grow wings and fly away? Tina, all this time, what percent of 100% positive things did they ever do for you?
Well, I've got to say, they put me back.
See, that's the truth right there. You heard it.
Well, they put me back, and he made them. The one that knows me made those little ones fix me for a mistake they did. There was blood coming out my chest, and I think they were quite happy to let me die and move on to the next. But he made them fix me, so that's got to be a positive thing. But they wouldn't need to fix me if they hadn't taken me in the first place. Is that a double negative? I'm not quite sure. So if they hadn't taken me and hadn't operated on me while I was awake, then I wouldn't have needed rescuing or put it right. So yeah, so that's the only thing I can say is that they put me back and they tried to fix the mistake or whatever. They shouldn't have been in my body doing stuff, So yeah, so all I can say is that they put me back. To be honest with you, I mean, they showed me my future or how I was going to die. I don't think that's a positive thing, but
even that, are you 100% sure that's how you're going to die? See,
I
when they showed, wait.
I don't know if that's how I'm going to die or what they showed me in my brain, what they projected into me.
Corey Good came out with his story. The Blu-rays showed him the past, present, and future. And he also said the world's going to be destroyed rather shortly. All right. So what they fed him, and now the government can do that. I'm not going to get into it, but they can show videos of film your dreams. But they can implant a dream, whatever they want. I mean, if they want you to look like Batman and turn into Superman and turn into a god, they can show you that video.
That's what they showed me. I'm not telling people that is what's going to happen. That's all they showed me. They told me about this war. They said that there would be a war in 2022. They go on to 2026 and they end in 2028. But this is going to go on 2024. So they showed me. So that's come true. But all I can say is that I only can tell you what they showed me. Whether that's true or just an image they put in my head to shut me up, I don't know. But that is just what they showed me, and that's all I can say.
Oh, look who came on.
Brian?
Greetings. No.
Hey, guys. How you been?
You didn't come on, but I'm glad to see you. It's always a pleasure.
It's been a while. Yes.
What have you been up to?
Not too much. Just trying to survive in this crazy world.
Exactly, right?
I know the truth.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
anyway, by all means, continue.
I just wanted to say this. I mentioned John Edmonds. All right. He died around Christmas time. But basically, he was in tune with all the negative energy, the aliens, everything. Everything was on his ranch. All right. He said he killed 18 Greys. But he was, like you said, Tina, he was met by men in black. He went out to diner, and he was sitting down with an alien and a man from Men in Black, both sitting there. They were fighting over him. And they asked him, do you want to come up and be with us up there? And he said to them, only if you take my 19 horses. He had horses. He would have went if they would tell him they'd take all his horses with him, which was the most ridiculous. If somebody's going to take you to another planet, they're going to take all your baggage with you? Of course not. But when he said something that stupid to them, I guess they must have realized how stupid he was to say that.
Is that ranch still doing its thing?
No. When he died, his wife is going to sell it, but she's trying to stay there now.
Oh, okay.
But he's changing the energy there. John was the bringer in of of the demons, the entities, and everything else that came to that ranch. All right, because when she was abducted and all those things happened, the aliens raped her and everything. He handcuffed her to the bed. He did all kinds of weird stuff. But again, he was the energy focus point. He was the vortex for them to come into that property. I mean, we filmed aliens there. We did a lot. I wanted to work with him because he said he was involved with the Montauk Project. He sat in a chair and he holds the key to the world and all that stuff. So, people become super important to themselves, and then they want the world to believe it.
Sasha, do you have any questions or any information on this hearing they had? Anything you want to say?
Oh, that congressional behind the doors hearing they had about the disclosure thing. I think it's a bunch of it's all just PR. That's all it is.
Tip of the iceberg.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I mean, what at this point, what good is disclosure going to do? Because most people, not just America, but around the world, they already know that aliens exist and UFOs exist. So it's.
I think this is their only way of coming clean.
Oh no, this is what it does. Everybody has a camera now. Everybody's filming UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to say? You're all sick. The whole world's crazy. No, they have to admit that they're filming something. So that's why they're going to release that. And they're still talking about Tic Tacs. They're not talking about spaceships, are they? I mean, there's multiple videos, and including what's happening with the sun right now should be scary to people. If these ships can go in and out of the sun, they must be really events technically. They're not spiritual beings. They're not love and light beings.
Not to mention they can artificially stimulate the sun to project CMEs towards Earth as a source of weapon.
That's not a good thing.
No, it's not.
Well, this whole thing with the United States, with the directed energy weapons they're using on the United States right now, that should wait. See, people don't listen. They don't care. Oh, well, like when we first came out with chemtrails, people didn't know that they're real and still don't believe it. And there's a major reason why they're doing it, people. I'm not going to get into that. I'll lose my sight. But again, I only got one more warning on YouTube, people.
It's that time. Sasha, have you got yourself a Geiger counter yet?
I have not. I've been kind of busy lately. Oh, is it that time?
Yeah, it's that time.
Do you have any questions to ask before? What's the number today? Hopefully it's low or none.
No, I'm just going to let you guys do your thing.
So this is my one. I bought it on Amazon, guys. This is my second one. My first one I dropped just for Christmas in the tea.
They're not tricked. They're not fake. They're real Geiger counters.
I'm on Amazon. They're about 20 English pounds. So my one here is there. Just going to turn it on there. Tommy has the exact same one. Tommy's in Hawaii, remember? Now I'm holding up mine to my computer screen as Tommy's holding his up, and you can see his top one going. So the top one, everybody, is volts per meter.
Energy.
As you can see there, volts per meter. That's volts per meter. Now Tommy's is going off because he doesn't have a shielded screen. He has a normal screen that emits electrical magnetic waves. Now I have on mine, as well as Tommy's, micro Teslas, and then I have what we call a safe screen. So mine doesn't allow waves to penetrate, but Tommy's does. So I'm going to hold this closer to me. Tommy, hold yours closer to you.
Mine doesn't do anything. Mine doesn't go off at all any different.
So I'm going to get a bit closer to it now.
My bottom screen never goes off next to my body.
So there you go. And now
people, when I drive down the road in Hawaii,
it's 30 at the moment. I'll come a bit closer to the screen.
Well, I mean, especially, there it goes. It's flashing.
People, that's something. Mine's up to 150 now. But
especially these days, like it's so cheap, and it's a good idea to have a Geiger counter because you can just go throughout grocery stores and see what foods are irradiated.
So you see at the bottom there, it's 2022, and I'm not holding it close to me yet.
See,
the other side. Normally, the other side for some reason is worse.
Nobody else does that. We had somebody come on and said that's normal. No, it's not. Nobody makes the Geiger counter go off on the bottom scale.
So now it's in the 1 point something range.
It goes up and down.
1.5, 1.4, 1.5.
Every red flash is a lethal dose.
Yeah.
That's not a good scenario, people.
People, I talk to many people. Nobody will admit that that's real. They're saying it's fake. No, we're not faking that, people.
For those that don't realize it, that what you just saw happen to Tina, that's not normal.
It's not normal at any level.
So
But see, Tina
You've
doesn't
seen
like
it.
to talk
You've
about it.
seen it in real life,
In
in
real
real
time,
time.
I had.
Tina is affected by the actual signs of radiation poisoning.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
We mentioned them many times, what she's going through with it. It's not like it's just, oh, you got radiation. No, it's not like that. It's dangerous, and it was dangerous to her body. She's holding up. She's doing good now, and I'm so glad that she is. But for a while, we didn't know how long. I didn't feel she was going to make it too good.
Me
Losing her
neither.
teeth, losing her fingernails, losing her hair, passing out, all those
Yeah.
things.
I'm still having some of that going on, and they're doing tests again because my blood pressure is really low at the moment. It's about 50.
Any more luck with the hypnosis thing, or that's not going to happen until sometime later?
I forgot about that. That's right.
So yeah, no, I'm hoping the guy who's doing it, he's getting married this year. So and he's got a lot going on. There's a big conference. He's getting involved with that. So as soon as all that's kind of calmed down, I'm hoping now all the COVID restrictions are lifted.
What kind of conference is he doing?
We're having a big conference. He writes for UFO Truth magazine.
So, and he won't bring you to it?
No, it's the other end of the country, Tommy. It's like
okay.
you living in Texas and someone else living in New York. So that's a comparison. So he lives like the other.
Hey, Tina, why can't he put his wedding, to the side? This is more important here.
If you're dealing with UFOs, that's the most important thing in your life. It should be.
Yeah, so he said, I think after like the lockdown and people couldn't go anywhere, and here in Britain, restrictions have only been lifted really since mid-April, May. So mid-April, a lot of the restrictions are just finished here in the UK. So, but now we've got monkeypox.
See, that's another, Tina.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into detail, but that's another created event to take our attention further away from the truth.
We can't carry much more in the UK. It's horrendous.
Yeah, I've got a lot to say about that, but I'm afraid they will clip us.
We can't. I know, Sasha. We can't do it. You're not allowed to talk about the truth in great detail on YouTube.
So,
I'm
hoping I'm going to get one day find out where, because I've got a couple of other things going on, and the calendar's starting to get really full again. So as soon as we can get everything done, I'm having it done, and it's being recorded. I want it recorded, and there's going to be a few people there, and there's going to be hopefully a member of my family there, a friend of mine, and one of the guys from the UFO Truth magazine, my lead investigator, the hypnotist, two other people has to be there. So there's going to be a room full of people there. And I want it recorded for my own sanity because I know what went on. It's the bits I'm missing. I remember them, and this particular one, I remember them putting me back. And this, the one, what it is this thing that was in the room. It was like 2 feet from my bed. Literally, I was like this side, looking that way. Next to my bed, between the bed and the wall, was about a 2 foot gap. And it was stood there as like a size of a very thin 6 to 8 year old, 10-year-old kid. With milky white, but it looked different to the others. It looked like it had a biscuit tin with a bandage wrapped around it. But where it was leaning forward, I couldn't see the front of its face, just out my feet because I couldn't move. I was like frozen on the bed, and because my eyes felt like they just like popped out, and I could see like the bluey green color fill the room from the right hand side, and my partner had gone. Now this thing didn't want to. It kind of moved differently to a human. It moved like just from where the hips would be. But it moved like forward and down, and one type of motion. It wasn't a crouch, and it was looking at my stuffed toys next to the bed. But I haven't seen one of them before. It's the first time I've seen this creature or thing. So whether it's because I saw it in like the room in my bedroom, like everyday light, or when you're on one of those ships, it's like bright white light and it kind of blinds you a lot. But that's the one I really want looking at. Because I don't remember what happened before. I remember going to bed, and I remember waking up, and literally they just put me back when I'd woke up. I don't think I was supposed to wake up like that quickly. I know I couldn't move, and my eyes were just bulging forwards. And this thing was next to my bed, and it's from that point on that I want looking at. So I want that account completely recorded before I do anything else. So I'm hoping that's, I'm telling him that's the account I want looked at first.
I just saw a bulletin come across my computer now. It said a prime minister or whatever they called in Russia just said they're going to tell when the war is going to end. they're calling it a war now as well, which they didn't want to do.
That'd be good.
It's just mind-boggling how people think, and we're moving forward with technical advances and moving backwards with awareness and human life forms. It's so mind-boggling, and science wants to go every other way. And they were talking about cloning and all these hybrids and mixing animals and humans together and all that stuff. Do they really think they're going to make humans better? We are the best we can be, and probably the
Goodness
best we
about
will ever
nature.
be. But the idea that Greys are keeping their race going, the Greys need us. They do. All right, reptilians need us for food. So there's different reasons why they're here, people.
You're not going to eat this buffet.
What was that?
You're not going to eat this buffet.
Well, we
I
have
think
to
God's
realize,
overcooked, so it won't be eating me.
well, Tina is like deeply involved with that part of it because she has children on a ship. Whether she really wants to ever get to see them again, are they ever going to really let her see them again? Who knows, right, Tina?
I doubt it. They wouldn't. They couldn't. When they took that little baby where they cloned me, they never told me. They just put this cloth thing over it, and it went. And they never. I asked where they were taking and what was going to happen, and they never told me. In
Tina,
all these, yeah.
I got a question.
Mhm.
Do you think if we got many people to sign a document saying we're demanding the video they took of you when they took that thing out of you, you don't think we could get it now, or is it like so locked down?
I was under the impression if you had, because A&E has film. Every accident emergency across any country now, there should be their films because they've got cameras up everywhere. They have done for years. And the operating theatres, you have to sign a medical consent form when you go into an operating theatre, not just for that, for photography and recording, because they record it for medical purposes. So it wasn't until afterwards we had the chat and I asked for it, and they said because other people. I said, what other people? I'm asking for the medical video of my evidence of what you've taken from me, and it's like, no. So if I can't get medical consent for a film that they took of me doing a medical procedure, then
Can't you sue them?
not in England, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, government protects themselves. They don't protect you, but they protect themselves. And for them to come out and say it's too controversial to release. It's my stomach you're talking about, not yours, mine, my stomach.
And it's it's not deemed to be in the event of public interest.
What's public interest, really? They want to know everything.
Yeah, it's just their excuse to hide the truth. And
Exactly.
have you tried a petition before, Tina?
She went to court.
They wouldn't. No, because it's it wouldn't work against the NHS.
Oh, I see.
It's like I say, government controls everything.
So no, it's like if I wanted to look at my partner's record, just supposing he had an operation, you could have 2 billion people sign that, and they would bat an eyelid because it's confidentiality for that person. And it's like I had just a fertility treatment once, and they said that they couldn't look at that part of my medical history because it involved another person, which was my husband at the time. And I said, yes, but it's my tissue, my DNA, and it's my medical record. And they're like, no, you can't clear it because his name was on there.
Now, here's a question. I don't know if Tommy has asked you this. During your surgery, did you ever remember leaving your body and exploring things? Like, did you see what was going on while you were being operated on?
So what actually happened was one of the 2 times I had a reaction. I'm allergic to anesthetic.
Okay.
And it was severe, and all I remember was them trying to bring me out. I don't remember nothing. They give me an injection. I was out, and that was it. And all I remember was the first time there was a male anaesthetist or a nurse, whoever it was talking in the operating theatre, And then I think he's saying, just stop, she's coming round. And he was doing something, my eyes were taped. And he was talking to me. And then I just started, like, I remember my body shaking. That's it. Next thing I know, I was in a pitch black, somewhere pitch black. I was in the middle of my body and I was dead. This light came and took me, this huge, it was like a dot in the sky. But it wasn't a sky, it was black. And I got, you know, it just like yanked me to the light. I didn't go to like the light, kind of yanked me to it, like up this like bright tunnel till I got to the top. And then it was like this voice said she's not ready, and they just kind of, instead of helping me up, they just look and let me go. And next thing I know, they're like resuscitating me, and I'm on a ward, and there were 6 doctors there saying, "Oh, you give us a right scare." And then the second time was kind of the same, but I don't remember coming up. I was just, my blood pressure dropped, and that was it, and they had to revive me. So both times I've had surgery like involving things like that, it's not been a good outcome, and I'm lucky to be alive today because they've had to revive me.
Okay, that's good. I was going to say, the reason I asked is because that would have been one way for the government, for you to have circumvented the government hiding the truth of what actually happened and not operating right.
No, yeah, exactly the opposite happened. Off you go, out you pop, and that was it, kind of thing. So yeah, and that's another reason why I didn't want, because I spoke to Travis Wharton about being hypnotized, and he said like so many times he was hypnotized and he took a polygraph and things like that, which didn't bother him. It's the regression, because they said that certain times, if you've died in your past and your body thinks that you're dead, that if they hypnotize you to that point and your body thinks you're dead, then if your body dies because your brain says die, you're kind of bugging, aren't you? So I took that into consideration for about 2 years, and then ended like, no, I'm going to have it done. But this thing happened years after, so I haven't got to go back to the point where I died before. So anything after the point where I've been revived, this incident happened after, years after. So it's within my time frame. It's within my threshold. It's a memory I could start to remember, but I don't remember nothing else about it, which is why I want it looked at.
Tina, do you want to mention your book now or not?
Oh, this book has been the bane of my life, because you can't publish. I don't know how to do it because I suffer from severe dyslexia, so it takes me a long time to write it. And my account is not mishmashy and goes through like love affairs and my mother and father. It's just very direct, what's happened, to the point, nothing else added. So it's going to be very full, small, thin book, because it is just about my account, and that's it. I'm no garnish on the side. It's just how it happens, and that's it. But there's a picture of it up there. I'm still having problems. It won't accept it. Every time I put pictures in and send it off to be published, it moves all the pages and the lines, and I can't get it right. So and my mum's not been well. She's been in intensive care again. She contracted pneumonia, and she's been out, but she's not been too well. So I've had that to contend with and other issues. So life goes on, I'm afraid, people. But I'm so desperate to get my book out. It's nearly there. You can taste it. But as soon as it does, guys, I've got the covers done, everything else done. It's just getting those pictures in there, because they put and publish it, and then people say, "Why don't you put pictures in?" I have pictures, drawings, photographs, everything I want to put in there and include it. It's only going to be a small, thin book anyway. It's nothing. It's probably going to be something about that, like this size, like one of my other books, The Checkpoint. It's not going to be very thick, guys, and it literally will be just about my account, but it will have the drawings in there. It will have what they told me in there. It will have my UFO account in there. So all those bits and pieces it will have. It won't have, oh, I spent this time years going to school and I hate it when people, none of that. It's just literally my account, and I want to get it out there, but I want to do it right.
Tina, if it seems it's been a while and it's not going good, what you could do is make a site, put all your pictures up on that site, and put that link in your book. And when they read in your book, they could go to the site and pull up the pictures.
Good thinking.
Without government coming in or anybody else stopping them and can't print it. But these people will be able to see what your pictures and everything else. I mean, there's points in cloud where it's private. You can give them a passcode to get into it. I mean, people need to read your book. I mean, there's a couple important books out there, but I think yours would be a really good one, because everybody uses imagination to create what they say could happen, might happen, and all those kind of words. Very few people have as much experience that you do. Travis Walton, I listen to him. I talk to him a lot, and he still keeps changing what he went through and everything else. See, that's why I want to talk about hypnosis when you leave, because I want to get into that in heavy detail. Because I do things, I know things that nobody in the hypnotic realm, their politics and everything else, know. They think that it's a plain set rules, and here they are. No, you can make anybody do anything under hypnosis, period. Never mind something they don't know. When you hypnotize a person, you hypnotize the entities that are around that person. And you could even hypnotize the people that are around you as well. And they all want to speak. So that's why I said, if a person's not spiritually aware, they're not going to be able to keep that away from you as well. All right. That's why I really love to be with you.
Yeah, no, I'm going to leave now. It's my time to go, people. Sasha, it's been so great to come on the show and tell me you're brilliant having me on here every week, because I'll just butt in and just say whatever. Listen, guys, come back on the show. And John, thank you for tuning in again. Guys, come back on the show. Have some questions. Look about, see if you can find anything out about this Congress meeting and when's the next one going to be, and any outcomes from that, or any space news or anything else. Sasha, it's really great you come on the show. Thank you for coming on, John. Thank you for coming on and watching. And Tommy, see you next week. And guys, Tommy's put his email up there. I have kind of deactivated my Facebook account because of other issues at the moment. But I've had to keep it going because I've got Messenger and I speak to my relatives around the world on that. So please email Tommy. Please email Tommy. If you want to come on the show, you know someone who wants to come on the show, let us know. We will give you a grilling and we will ask questions. If you want to ask us questions, please do so. If you want information, we'll try and get it for you. Or if you have answers from a previous show, which we're desperate for, or you have new news, anything connected like that, Tommy's always around. Please email Tommy because he's a great researcher. He would look at it for you. And we'll see you next week. And I've been Tina Brad here in Southampton in the UK. Guys, just keep looking up, taking pictures of the sky. Bye, Sasha. Bye, Tommy. And see you next week, guys. Thank you for coming on. Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye-bye.
You take care.
All right. Now, I wanted to bring that up, too, because a lot of people using hypnosis. You go to school, you think you learn how to use hypnosis. But there's a spiritual side to hypnosis and a dark side to hypnosis, like I was mentioning. The dark side means you hypnotize entities and you start talking to them. And you think you're talking to the person that you're talking to. Or who were you in your past life? Well, I was the Queen of Sheba. I mean, you're going to get a lot of responses that are truly different than what they could be or should be. Now, there's protections you could create when you do hypnosis as well. And I know most people have no way to protect themselves from aliens even. I'm completely protected from it. All right? See, that's a level that most UFO people have no clue. Thinking that talk to aliens or going up there and talking to them or being in a light body, talking to them is going to be beneficial. To who and why? Why do you think a race would come here to help us do what? I mean, most people believe we were here to create and mine gold. No, that's not why God put us here. Not at all. And we weren't put on planet Earth to begin with. So all the concepts that man created are lies. And I'll tell you this, and I don't do it when Tina's on because she doesn't like to deal with religion much because God didn't help her in her viewpoint, which in a way it didn't. But this is hell, people. And this is where we deal with all the dark side, all the negativity and everything else that comes along with it. So Jesus didn't come here to take everybody's sins away or protect them and things like that. Jesus faced Satan. And people don't want to talk about that, where Christians want to say all aliens are demons. But that's not true either.
And not to say, how can you call yourself a Christian and don't believe in reincarnation? I mean, come on.
Serious problem. They do not. They're programmed not to believe it. Mm-hmm. There's a new sect of Christianity that do believe it. It's a special sect now that's opening up to accepting reincarnation. All right. How would they ever know if they were with Jesus if they didn't believe in reincarnation? And it would be beneficial if they did remember that, because they would realize the stories that are being told now are much further from the truth than anything else. So, yeah, my book, True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization, is the most important thing I ever wrote, which I will put the rest of my life on.
I've bought 3 so far, 1 for myself and then 2 others for other friends. And so yeah,
thank you, Sash. People, look, I'm not here to make money. I'm not making money. I mean, I want to turn that book so I could send it to people without making them pay for it. I didn't even do that yet. I've been so busy with a lot of other things. My partner's starting to feel okay dealing with her thing. So it's been hard dealing with property, and now I just found out my rent's going up and all the little things that happen. But I'm working on a coconut tree. I mean, I'm freaking 30 feet up in the air, strapped to a tree, chopping down these giant coconuts that are 3 times bigger than my head. I'm serious about that. They call it king coconut, but they're giants. You get hit on the head by them, you'll probably be dead. So this is an incredible time if you want to look at it as incredible. Whether that doesn't mean good or bad, it just means incredible. It's different, it's strange, it's bizarre. And we're very close to going to war. What do you think aliens do when a war happens? And this is a fact, people, and you're not going to hear it talked about every UFO conference. Every war we ever had, there were aliens there watching it. Not stopping it, watching it. And they watch it because they can take all the dead bodies, the people that get killed, all the people they want, they could just take, and they just get written off as missing in war. So, what you want to say, some Sash?
I was gonna say it's a for those species, it's a free for all for souls.
Exactly. So combination aliens had the technology to brainwash and hypnotize people a long time ago. There's different techniques. There's many different levels of hypnosis and different ways to do it. When I was 12 and I met Kreskin, he called it the power of suggestion. Hitler hypnotizes people just by talking to them. You say something to a person over and over, they accept it. So there's different ways that an alien could program a person to believe whatever they want them to, and then show them a video of their life, like Corey Good did, and people like that. All right, when they showed Tina what was happening, they show them. See, they wanted to take her. They wanted her to come to their planet and stay with them, but she would never be allowed to come back here, and she said no. Now, John Edmund, my friend, he wanted to go, but he wanted to take all his horses with him, which was ridiculous. What are you going to feed your horses on another planet? Moon rock, Mars rock, whatever. So, people want things, but in reality, does it fit the reality and the time frame that we're living in? Of course not. People want to believe good aliens are good aliens. And the whole topic of this, what I wanted to do today, is agenda. A monkey has an agenda. A lion has an agenda. Every creature has an agenda. Mm-hmm. Some of them are natural agendas, which is ingrained within them. Many others are programmed and taught to them. You're taught about religion, and then that becomes your truth, and then your agenda is based out of that. But agenda means what you think we need to do to make things right or wrong. You're going to rob a bank, that's your agenda, right? To rob a bank. You're going to rob a planet, that's your agenda. Mm-hmm. Right? Races come to planet Earth with an agenda, and it's not like, well, there's good and bad. No, those people are picked to get on a ship to come here. They don't go out to John's bargain store. Hey, all you people come on our ship and we'll take you to Mars or Venus or some other place. No, it's not like that. We don't go to the prison, take all the prisoners out of jail and put them on a ship and send them to somewhere. Like when the Spanish boats came in here, they came in with all the prisoners. Let's get rid of them. Now, like a place like Cuba, they'll let the Cuban prisoners go easily. But if you have a job, you got to pay $50,000. It was then, years ago, $50,000 to get out of the country. My friend's family was in Cuba. He had to spend $45,000 to get his daughter out. $50,000 he sent for his mother. They said that's not enough. He had to send him another $35,000, and they finally let his mother come back. So, they don't let the good people leave. So you think an alien race that wants to take over a planet are going to send all the criminals here? So do what? They just party and have a feast. I mean, people don't want to relate to the truth at any level, and it's scary and sad.
Well, yeah, it's getting worse every day, too.
They rather believe in the fairy godmother's going to come save them, or Superman's going to come down and grab all the bad people, whatever they want to believe, but not about the truth. And the worst part of it is they want to erase God from the picture, and they want to become God. They want to become superpower beings. They want to live forever. Bazo, however you say his name, Bazio, whatever. I call him Bosco. Wants to spend money to live forever. He's going to pay all these doctors and scientists that work on formulas to create a life formula. Why is planet Earth that incredibly great to stay here?
I was gonna say, like, are they really, like, what is going on through their heads to thinking that they want to stay in hell forever?
Because they have no experience outside of it.
Exactly.
And until you do, which I tell people, the first thing you need to learn is at least experiencing being out of your body. Even, I said, if the first time you have to do a drug or whatever it is to take to get to it, I mean, don't get addicted and don't be addicted to medicine or drugs to do it. But if you can't get nowhere, ayahuasca is an incredible experience. I mean, LSD is not the same. It's a little more different. But what do you want to get out of it? At least understanding that you're not this body. That's the most important thing. If you think this body is worth saving, guess what? I mean, look at me. I'm losing everything. My hair, my teeth, my mind's still here, at least. But if you lose your mind, when people get this dementia and Parkinson's, it's the worst way to die.
Would you say that that is part of their karma?
Well,
When,
it is their karma.
yeah, when they go
Right.
like that?
Because they didn't spend any time trying to find a spiritual path or understanding the truth about spirit. Uh, you're going to forget you're here because this life was useless anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But you had many, and you're not even getting in touch with any of them because somewhere along the line you learned things here and there. Soul's aware. Soul's a lot more aware. But when it comes here, it forgets what it has, and it has to deal with the mind because it has to fight the mind for whatever it does. Because the body has to react, and it reacts to the mind much easier than it does to soul. Some people, I mean, everybody gets that inner nudge. Well, don't do that or do this, and they just ignore it. But when soul talks, they don't listen. They rather listen to, well, I think I could get across the street faster than that car is coming. And then the mind will say, I could beat it. It's ego. And it's always based, I mean, we all have ego. But when ego runs your body, you're in serious trouble. Every rich person on the planet is run by ego, not by soul. Soul doesn't need money. Soul doesn't want money. Soul's not about making money. So the concept of what mankind has accepted is so twisted. And if you think aliens are going to help straighten that out, you're wrong. Now, when we talk about reincarnation, religions don't accept it. Most religions do not. There's only a few that do, 2 or 3 that do out of 2,000.
Now, why is that?
What was that?
Why is that?
Because people aren't ready. They didn't learn anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're still learning about how great sex is and how much fun watching a football game is. They're not caring about death and God and spirit and light and all those other words.
Exactly. Yeah, they're more concerned of the physical than what they really need to focus on.
5 passions of the body, the same as the words 5 senses of the body. All right. When you stimulate them, you think you're in bliss. All right. And that's what makes sex important, or a cheap thrill when your adrenaline flows through your body. Oh, wow, that's a rush. Getting stoned on a drug and feeling that. It's all the illusion that takes you away from the truth.
Well, yeah, and the crappy part about, a lot of souls that they get trapped, a lot of the reasons is because of whether it's physical or emotional attachments.
Well, we got people thinking they could go to a psychic and a psychic could heal their karma. A lie, people. Nobody can do it for you. Jesus didn't take everybody's karma away. All right. A lot of souls from then still exist today, like I am. All right. You're reincarnated, but hopefully I am aware of what Jesus was teaching. I am aware of the things that were going on. And they're the root of my belief and truth inside me. But without that, I'd be like every other person, thinking that life is so important. Love is so important. It is in a relationship, but you're going to die. And what are you leaving your partner? You're not going to leave them much at all. Maybe a couple dollars, but what can you leave of yourself to them? A memory of you? So again, learning how to leave the body and come back to communicate with soul is usually what ghosts do. And when you do that, means you didn't attain a higher spiritual level. Being a light body doesn't mean you're a spiritual being. People think of the light. I wanted to mention this. I studied with I did a I guess, let's see, 24 years ago, I went on a vision quest with the medicine man, a Hopi elder. All right. There was 13 of us on it. I only went because he said we're going to see aliens and we're going to go in and everything else. I wasn't more concerned about my past life or anything like that. I was concerned about seeing aliens and I wanted to. So when I went, when we do these workshops, I can't even think of the proper word, but everybody attacks one person at a time. And they ask them questions and they challenge them on everything they say and all that. And it's hard. It's a hard thing to do when you got 13 people actually debating you against whatever you're going to say. But in the interim, I was shown, and he said, the first thing you do when you see the light is don't go through it. Now, this is his awareness. I'm not saying it's the right awareness, but he said, don't go through it, because if you do, they have you. See, now people think just because it's a light means it's everything. I mean, when you saw like the show on TV where she crosses souls over, the light comes and takes them. Well, the light comes and takes them, but where's it taking them? See, people don't know the realms or understand that. So being taken is the greatest thing, not if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, if you don't have that awareness, I mean, you're lost.
Awareness, and people think they're going to become aware because they talk to an alien? What are they going to tell you to make you an aware being? I studied all my life to get where I'm at. I went through so many religions, so many dangerous, horrible things along the way. And I'm not saying it was good. A lot of it was bad. A lot of it was super horrible and scary. But the idea is you usually don't move forward unless you're in pain. All right. The same as weightlifting. No pain, no gain. You don't get built strong if you don't keep pushing the pain.
Yeah.
So in this reality, if you don't have any pain, like some multimillionaire families do or don't, they don't have to experience a lot of the stuff. They don't like something, they change it. Their butt's too big or too small, they change it. Anything they don't like, they change it. They don't like where they're living, they buy another house. Or they don't like being on the land, they buy a boat. It's like they don't deal with our reality that normal people deal with. Pain or rent. Buying food today.
I get that asked a lot. You know, people ask me, why would God allow someone to be in such horrible pain and children and all that stuff? I'm like, it's not God doing this. You gotta have that awareness first to realize what's happening here.
Most people never search out spiritual truth until they're ready to die.
Yeah,
and that's a little bit too late.
Yep.
All right. You can't wait till the last minute and say, I'm going to learn everything I'm supposed to. No, you're not. You're dying. You're going to be dead in 2 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say you got minutes left. You can't do in 2 minutes what you should have done in your whole life.
In your whole life. Now, the other thing is, if you have truth in what you're experiencing, which is basically being able to understand death, which is the final outcome of this physical life, of the body. Once you know that can come and go and you're still there, it's incredible. Now, Jesus was the only person that explained it, showed it, and taught it, and proved it. All right? So that meant those people were aware. I mean, Thomas left the country. Mary Magdalene left the country. All the rest were killed. Anybody caught doing an exercise that Jesus taught them was killed. They don't talk about that much at all because they didn't know it and they didn't understand it. All they know is Jesus said this and Jesus said that. Jesus didn't say any of the things you hear. Sorry, people. People, go back to his time frame. Go back to 2,000 years ago. Sit on a ground, on a dirt, facing a person, talking. Now, even when I'm talking, do you remember every word I said in this talk? Do you take shorthand? Can you write down everything I'm saying? Of course not.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about 2,000 years ago. They were just using simple words and learning how to talk and understand words like spirit, soul, God. God wasn't accepted, so he had to use the word Father. So at that point, people accepted very little. He talked to the people on the mountain that were just simple-minded fishermen, farmers, and horse salarymen, whatever the word is, ferrymen. These people weren't ready to understand a God, understand soul, without the proof of being that. So Paul was the only one that actually wasn't physically next to this when Jesus arose. and he met Jesus through a vision. So they accept his vision. Christianity accepts his vision, but if I tell them mine, they just call me crazy. So you know how people are programmed to accept certain things only, no matter what goes down, no matter what happens, they're only allowed to accept certain things.
You know, and there's a reason why Jesus kept saying, "He who have no faith, follow me." But of course, when you say that to a Christian person, they will, just flat out go to the Bible and they will have their own, weird offset interpretation of it. It's just,
Well, you can go to 10 churches and listen to the priest, minister, or whatever, talk about a sentence or a phrase, and they'll give you their definition of it. Whether it pertains anything to the truth or not doesn't matter. It's their perception of it. I spent my whole life on a spiritual quest, the same as I've been involved in the UFO world just as long. I didn't want the UFO world part of it, but it became part of it, and at every level. I'm dealing with something right now. I still don't know what I'm dealing with. It's a light ship that's hi to me almost every other night, and I don't know if it's a real ship or a being or an entity or what it really is anymore. But it's been with me about 4 years, and it's always there, and it blinks at me and all that all the time now. So one time it was 126 times within 10 minutes. One time it sent me Morse code back, ... dash, dash, ... I mean, a satellite can't do that. All right. I don't want to get into that, but there's so much stuff in the sky. Anybody that has money, I don't, but if you have money, anybody that's listened to this, forget the UFO world, forget those people out there. Go out and buy a night vision goggles that cost $3,500. All right. And you'll see things beyond the wildest imagination every night. Seriously, don't look at the sun. You can't, or you'll burn the thing out. But you'll see every kind of entity, ship, and you name it. I got a chance to look through it for an hour one time. Man, I saw so much stuff within that 1 hour. You're seeing things that you will never see any other way. But if you have money, I almost had a pair. My friend that was selling me a pair half price was killed. He told me they're going to kill me, and 2 weeks later he was dead. But he had a pair of night vision glasses. Somebody paid half of it, and he says, "Well, I'll sell it to you for the price that I owe on it, that I have, that I need on it." I said, "Okay." A week later, he calls me up and said, "They're going to kill me." And you want his name? I'll give you his name. No, I won't. But again, I feel bad because I was going to go out to see him, and I really wanted to buy him. But you know, if you want to believe in UFOs and really don't, go and buy a pair of night vision glasses. You got a couple $1,000, rather than going to 50 million football games, baseball games, or all the other things that you could be spending that money on something that will change your reality of what you believe and think.
Yeah, I mean, certainly night vision goggles help, but from my experience, I mean, just go out at night on a summer night and keep doing it, and you don't have to have any special equipment. You will start seeing things. Trust me.
Oh no, you'll see UFOs, but I'm saying every minute you'll see things. Every 5 minutes you'll see things. Every half hour you'll see things. I mean, I go out, I spend hours out there, and I'll get to see maybe 10 ships. But I'm talking about hundreds in an hour and things like that. And it's mind-boggling that all those things will be going through our atmosphere or our solar system for whatever reasons. Each one has their own reason for going by us or coming around us. But I thought about that. I said, all these ships, where are they really going? Why are they even wasting their time coming near our planet? There has to be, I don't know everything what's going on in their minds because they don't care about us. I mean, not that I care about them. I care about what they do to people that they abduct. And when I turned, I guess, 19 when I started doing past life regression. I created the people. You don't have to believe it. I know there's 2 people out there said they recreated it and stuff. I just saw her picture. She's an old lady. She died 2 years ago, I guess. Claims she created in what year? Like 10 years after I was already doing it. I didn't become famous, and I didn't do it commercially. But when she actually said, "Well, we're going to do this," I did it because all my friends said they had missing time. I was out in my car, and when I got home, it was like morning. I fell asleep, but I was with my partner and we both fell asleep or whatever. Missing time is when you get abducted.
I was going to
Whether you
say,
get somebody,
StreamYard misses time as well from you every 5 to 10 minutes.
yeah, I know that. I got a new program, virus protection program. It told me right now, 3 people were hacking into my site right now.
Oh, geez.
So it keeps track of them, it blocks them, it does a lot of things. I mean, I paid money for it.
Probably
I got all these. I had all these free ones through AOL, and by mistake, I said I'm going to get this one, and I realized it was a lot of money. Then I found out it was only half of the program, and I had to buy the other half of the program. But now that I have it, it does everything you could possibly want a protection program to do. I mean, even when I'm online, it tells me how many people are hacking or trying to hack in, and it says these are hacks, and it's an incredible program, but it protects me a lot more than I was ever protected. So, I mean, I'm not really worried about things like that right now. But again, I know the government watches my show. They don't have to hack it. They could just watch my show. I mean, here, listen to what I'm saying, people. I can tell you more about the Montauk Project than anybody else in the UFO world can. Seriously. The stories, the books, and everything else that comes out is a bunch of stories. The person I did my vision quest with, all right, his name's Robert Morning Sky. All right. His grandfather, and 2 other men were in the mountain where another ship had crashed during Roswell. 3 ships crashed, people, and you still only hear about one. Isn't that amazing? Well, his grandfather was with the alien, Gray, for almost 9 months up in the mountains with them. And they finally learned to communicate and everything at a real high level. But at the end of the 9 months, the ship came down and finally took the Gray away.
Rescue mission.
But he wrote a thesis in college on that. And they really didn't want to give him a prize because it was about an alien. And they did. He got his, whatever they call it, Nobel, not a Nobel Prize, but like a writer, whatever it was. But I know him. I met with him. But he was snagged by the government, reprogrammed. They stripped him of his books. And I mean, you go online, and freaking people giving his books away and doing all kinds of horrible things to him. They smashed him in front of his house. They broke every bone in his body. Then he was taken and he told he was going to do a TV show, and they completely stripped him about the UFO world. So, yeah, I had battles with him personally as well. But when I did go with him, I thought he was a really important person in my life at that time. It lasted for a short period of time because after they reprogrammed him, he hated me. He said, "You can't talk about UFOs." I said, "What do you mean I can't talk about UFOs? I'm not going to let you." Even in a conference, he says, "I'm going to stop you." And right before it happened, I was dealing with a person from FEMA, and this I could go into great stories. This big guy, nice dressed, had this little box on his hip, and he goes, "Well, I didn't meet him in person. My friend introduced me to him." He goes, "Well, I'm an ex-FEMA person, and I got this box so they can't track me." But he gives me a card, and it says alien implant removal. He says, "Stick it in your pocket." So I stuck it in my pocket. Now it's like we were getting ready to do a conference, Sergeant 18 and I, and about 15 minutes before we were going to start the lecture, because he said he was going to stop us from doing it, I thought he was going to try to start a fight with me. That's what I was expecting. All of a sudden, I see 6 of him, his people, and him. They were all dressed in black with their suitcases, and they left the hotel. Seriously, he was supposed to do a workshop all week long, and they just left the hotel, just like that. So there's things mind-boggling. This is a card programmed with an energy chip in it, and this was in 1997. So technology is out there, especially among FEMA people and government like MJ-12 people. I was friends with a person from MJ-12 people. I don't care what you say, what you think you know, and you try to challenge me. I'm going to tell you your story's bull because you don't know the truth.
I love it
So
when people have documentaries and they talk about, like, they are supposed experts. They talk about MJ-12, but for some odd reason, they never mention MJ-32.
Right. They won't raise it to the number of people that are involved with that now. And I'm
Yep.
sure it's even more. I
Yep.
mean, that's when I was dealing with it. And the person I was dealing with was killed. And he was, and this is no lie, people, the original If you didn't see it, watch it. A lot of that's actual fact, people. Aliens are cloning and working with bees. They created a honey that can cure any disease on this planet. I'm not making this up, people. This person from MJ12 was supposed to give it to me. And he was killed rather recently after, right after. So, I don't know whether he was half alien or not. That I never figured out. But again, I was told by another person in the UFO world, the top Bob Dean, before he died, that they have an alien that works with them inside the government. Because, I said, how can we change reality? Do we have to take out Congress? He says, no, we're working on that. We got somebody inside there. But it's not helping. People think one person or a good person is going to change the reality of our government. No, the richest people on this planet control the world. Until you're ready to face that, and I have to say this, Jesus said many times, it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. All right, this is how. So getting out of here is not easy for them to do.
I wonder how many people even understand that saying.
They don't. They'll reincarnate over and over before they understand that. But again, this world is not the most beautiful place. It's not the place you want to dwell forever. There's no reason to. See, as long as you can see pain, suffering, hear it, feel it, and experience it, it's not heaven. You can't be in a beautiful place and go through all those kind of things, seeing your children die. And soul doesn't die. So once you get past the physical plane, soul's alive, and it doesn't die. You can't chop it up, shoot it, freeze it, burn it. So it's a different reality.
Yeah. What cracks me up is those people that murder all their life, go to church and say, man, I'm saved. When I die, I'm going to go straight to heaven. Boy, do they have something coming?
Jesus told his people, go out and sin no more. Go out and sin no more. Once you know God exists, you can't go against it. And if you do, guess what? You create tons of karma.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple, people. And Jesus did suggest that the 10 Commandments are basic laws to live by. Thou shalt not kill is probably one of the most important laws that the world has rejected and does not accept as a fact. So that means constantly, always, we're going to be at war. Now, with the chance of World War III coming up, means your children might be drafted. That word might come into play again. And I know it was up to 35, but they wanted people mostly from 17 on. But people up to 35, 34, could be abducted, drafted.
So Tommy, maybe you can answer this for me, because I get this question a lot from people when we start these conversations. They say, okay, well, how can God allow a child to go through so much suffering in this world? Could you answer that for them?
People, it's this simple. Try to understand this. Your body's not who you are. You get raped, you get shot, you get blown apart. That's not you. Your soul's going to be there right after it happens. I said, man, what a horrible life that was. But see, people, children, a lot of children die, and a child in the neighborhood just died 2 years old last week. He went into a stroke. They took him to the hospital, and a day later he died. All right. Now, you don't inject people. I don't want to get into in detail because, again, I don't want to lose the show right now. But here's the thing, people. Pain and suffering is the only way you listen. When you're bad, when you were a child and you did something bad, did your mother go out and buy you a cheesecake or ice cream or whatever to say, congratulations? Did they punish you in any way? Of course they did. If you're not responsible or proven responsible for the things you do, now you live your whole life killing people. Oh, I was a good killer. Now you think you're not going to pay for that? And you got shot. So obviously you didn't pay any karma. So when you reincarnate, you could be born a homeless, starving child in another country. You could be born into a family that you're going to be suffering. But again, suffering is a part of growth. No suffering, no growth. Weightlifting, I said it. No pain, no gain. If you don't realize, and you usually don't look to God ever until something happens.
Yep.
The son's deathly sick and dying. Oh, God, help him.
Most people are like that.
Most people don't look until the last second.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people say they go to church. Sorry. People go to church. Well, I pray every Sunday. To who? For what reason? Well, to heal the planet. Do you see the planet getting healed anyway?
Oh, jeez.
And this is something critical. Why do you think God allows Satan to run this planet? Lucifer's not running this planet, people. Satan is. Jesus met Satan, not Lucifer. Lucifer's the light being that's on the astral plane. He fell down with all the rest of the angels, but he was the highest angel. And like my main problem with Sergeant 18, he thinks Satan, Lucifer's the demon that's going to come here and get destroyed by Jesus in 2034. Again, that's not going to happen. Jesus isn't going to come back to save mankind. Man killed him when he came here the first time. You'd think it would be any different? Any spiritual leader that can do miracles is considered a danger to the government, to a lot of people. The Dalai Lama doesn't go around doing miracles. I mean, Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, they just talk bull. So yeah, they're recognized as spiritual people. Mm-hmm. But can they change reality? Look at Tibet. Look at the things that are happening. We can claim a lot of things, but we don't change that reality. I know Tina says we're changing reality by getting abducted. Yeah, that's changing reality, which they have no right to do. So they lie to themselves. But it's not these certain races that are doing it. It's the races that do not care about morals. People, I've been doing a show for about almost going on, well, over a year and a half with Tina right now. I did a show for almost 10 years with TJ Morris. And I haven't met a person except Tina that I can deal with, because they don't want to deal with the truth. They like their programmed ideas, what they create, believe what they created, which is fine. You're supposed to believe what you create, but create something positive and real, not a dream, not a story. Now, when I say implanting images in a person, they do that all the time. Up until about maybe 20 years ago, the aliens had a good handle on it. A few people slip by, like Travis Walton, that are aware and remember the things. Most people do not. But then when people started remembering things, they had to reprogram what they see and what happens. So that means like all these experiences coming out. Oh, I had a great, they came in my room and we went to here and there. And they showed us all the future and they showed us this. And it's all a program, a mind program.
Well, I mean, heck, our government already has the ability to visually record our dreams.
I mean, it's a scary thing what's happening right now.
Yeah.
But realize, people aren't going to be around much longer. Do you understand that, people? You should be more concerned about that, because UN Agenda 21-30 is in full play. And even Mr. Musk, he contradicted himself within 1 week. He came out and said, well, I'm going to eliminate all the useless jobs. He said it. I'm going to eliminate all the useless jobs.
Mm-hmm. Robots.
We'll have robots doing all these jobs. What's a useless job? Jobs little, poor, homeless people do. All right? And then what's he say the next week? Okay, people, you better be careful and watch out for artificial intelligence. Didn't you just say you're going to use it to take away the people's jobs? So here's one of the richest people on the planet, richest person on the planet, coming out and saying something that's stupid. And now he's got a sex charge against him. I know he left the country right now. I don't know what he's doing, whatever. But again, people, when you idolize rich people, I mean, you pull yourself into their reality.
Mm-hmm. You look into the Musk history, it's actually pretty weird.
Well, you know, when I started studying religions like the Muslim religion and the Quran and things like that, Gabriel wasn't God. Sorry, people. An angel is not God. You can listen to an angel for yourself, but to make the world listen to an angel? And it has to be one of the angels mentioned in the Bible. How do they prove it? How do you prove an angel's who they say they are? You can't. You can challenge them. You can prove that they're not real angels or who they say they are if you know how to.
Most people don't.
I mean, I don't give that information to anybody because they don't even want to know it. Oh, I saw Gabriel. I saw Michael. I saw all the other angels. I'm bad with words. I'd say all of them. Most of them all rhyme. It's funny. 8 of them actually rhyme with each other. They all rhyme from the same word. Where the one, uh, the one sounds like it's a scientific name of the future, the last angel. But Alphatron and Metatron, it's one of those two names, which is bizarre because all
Sounds
the
like
other.
sounds like characters from the Transformers movie.
Well, I'm saying exactly. And this was a name given to an angel way back then. So maybe it is the angel of the future. Who knows what it is? But it's a weird name to classify with the other 8 that all have similar. They change a couple letters, but it's a similar sounding name. So, but again, why don't they ever mention all the other angels? Because most people don't know the other angels, and they don't even care to find out that. I mean, people follow religion and believe it and ask them a question. I would say, where in the Bible does it tell you what sins you can't be forgiven for? Nobody knows. I haven't met one Christian that does. I read the Bible over and over from cover to cover many times. I was going to become a preacher. I'm a minister right now. That's why I'm using Reverend right now. Because I'll talk about God. I'll talk about Jesus. I'll talk about the truth. Not the lies, not the stories, the things that don't help us. All right. Doing things in the name of God. Do you know what God wants you to do? Do you have a clue? Does that mean you should be a bartender feeding people liquor and getting them drunk? What do you believe God wants you to do? Well, I didn't find my true mission. The true mission is to find out who you are, not the world, not anybody else, just who you are.
Can you
And
imagine? It's such a simple thing, but why is it so hard for most people to not get that?
well, that's why you're in hell. That's
Yep.
why the 5 passions exist:
Yep.
lust, greed, anger, vanity, and attachment. Those things will keep you here forever if you believe in any of them. But attachment being the most dangerous of them all, because you get attached to family and then you feel you have to come back. But you come back, you're not going to be in the family. 90% of the time, you don't come back into that family. Only if your karma is very limited, you'll have a little more ability to come back into your own family.
Mhm.
But then again, you're going to come in as a baby to your family, older family members. They're not going to know you. I
I
mean,
get I get people saying, "I'm so excited when I die. I'm going to see my mom or my dad." And then I tell them, "Well, which one? From which life?"
well, they don't want to know about any other lifetime.
Yeah.
I say that. I said, what if you married 3 times in this lifetime? Who do you think you're going to be with? Did you love your first wife? Or do you love your second wife? Or husband? And you're all going to sit at a table. And then what are you going to do, people? What do you think you would do if you met your family and sitting at a table? What are you going to talk about? Oh, I crossed over. I didn't have too much pain. It was fun. I had so much pain when I was crossing over. Then what are you going to talk about? For infinity. Never dying, being there forever. What are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about the weather in the astral plane? What are you going to talk about? No more football games, no more hockey games, none of that. What are you going to talk about? Oh, where am I going to buy my shoes? Shoes? Uh, I'm not getting old. You don't age. You pick an age and you take that age when you get there. Everything you know is going to change. Everything. Everything you think you can take from here to there is not going to be useful there. Your words, your ideas, your thoughts, they're all useless.
Mm-hmm.
So people, I do this show. I can't do this when Tina's on. It's too different for her. But people, it's a long show today. I know Tina drops off in an hour, and she's 11 hours different than I am. So it's nighttime for her. So it's only 10 o'clock, 10:45 for me today. So people, I hope you got something out of today. Remember, I'll answer questions. I know there's comedians in my chat room all the time, and they got to put their jokes up, but that's their choice.
Oh, the trolls.
I mean, our big name people in there are trolls, if you want to call them trolls.
Yeah.
But I dealt with one who's given me a really hard time, and I said, "Look, Skype me. You want to talk to me? Do it." He said, "Well, you're blocking me." I said, "I'm not going to put you on my show if you don't talk about what I want you to talk about. I'm not going to let you talk about stupid things that aren't real or important. I'll bring somebody on my show if I feel that they're real, honest, and have something true to say. No other way. That's why you're here. That's why Tina's here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anybody else on. I have one person. I've been trying to get him on, but he goes, I just like to listen to you. And he claims he's the top mystic on the planet. Seriously. So, I'm open to the truth. if anybody feels that they have a real part of it, an important part of it, I'll bring them on in a second. I sure wouldn't bring Corbie Good on unless she would come on to debate me, which she will not, ever. People that make money off of their stories aren't going to come up and face it, that they can lose that money coming in because of that story. Conversations with God. I challenge him 30 times. Oh, I'll send you my new book.
Looks like Tommy's internet is down. Oh, looks like, well, sort of back. Okay.
So, people, look, I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to do anything outrageous other than give you a way to find your own truth. And you need to. You're not going to find it in a cracker-jack box, and you're not going to find it from talking to somebody at a UFO conference. All right? You might have a good time. Be around people telling stories and people laughing. How could you laugh about what's happening? The good aliens are coming. Really? And what are they going to do? Make the world better? Put a Band-Aid on all the problems? People, wake up. There's not much time to. Population's going to be depleting rapidly soon. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be people that stay here? Good luck with that one. You're going to have it 10 times harder than you do now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have food. You're not going to have everything you think, all the luxuries and all the other things that we have right now. Think about if the world's half radioactive. What are you going to do, people? Why do you think people, millionaires, are living underground? They're not there yet, but they will be. They all have their own homes built and everything else ready. But do you understand that? No, not one person talks about that. They don't talk about truth, ever. And that's scary. You'd rather hear a lie. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll be okay. We can take away radiation. We can do this. No, you can't.
Well, the lies is what make people popular and rich.
Exactly.
Truth
Right.
truth doesn't make people money, and that's why that either that or they just don't want to.
You know, the old phrase, I say it. Truth hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Truth's not a loving, compassionate word. I mean, if I went next to you, I go, oh, you smell bad. Do you say that? No, you try not to. Or you look stupid today. Or you don't say that usually because the truth will hurt the other person. You're following the wrong God. You can't say that to me. I'm following the right God. Whatever, the truth will not be accepted.
So
Ever.
here's a question: if you're honest with people, even if it hurts their feelings, does that mean you create karma?
Being honest?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay. Even if it hurts that other person's feelings.
You can't lie. So when you tell the truth, you're going to have to tell the truth.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, do you think I look good? No, you don't. Like my partner asks me all the time. I just look at her and say, "You want me to tell you what you want to wear? You know what you want to wear. Don't ask me, because I'll tell you to wear something different."
Okay, I understand, because you've done your part. So now it's however that other person reacts. That's
they don't like it. It's a problem.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Somebody said Atlantis. Atlantis was the most important part of our change. When that was destroyed, we were destroyed as a race. Sorry to tell you people, but you believe it or not, you don't have to. You could believe the Anunnaki created us to mine gold and all those stupid stories. Eliminate God out of the picture. Go right ahead. No alien race is going to tell us anything important about God because they can't. We are or could be the most spiritual race in the universe. But we deny that to ourselves even as we speak right now.
Yep.
So time's running out, people, to become aware for yourself, not for the world. You can't increase. Now, I studied Eckankar for a long time, and the master would give a talk. Usually useless, but when he did, one speech he was given, well, I have a son and a daughter. The son, he'll go into meditation, he'll do this, he'll do that. My daughter, she doesn't want to do any of it. And I can't make her do anything. You can't make somebody become spiritual. No matter who you are, who you think you are to them.
Right.
You might as well take a cat from outside and tell him how to become spiritual. Or tell the tree on in your yard, I'm going to teach you how to be a spiritual tree. You'll have the same luck. But again, people have to make that decision as soul when they realize where they are and what they're experiencing. Man, I experienced this. 100 times. I don't want to go through this again.
Mhm.
But the drugs make it easier. Why do you think 90% of the people drink?
Drink and
It
smoke.
boggles my mind. We can't go to a party without half of the people or 3/4 of the people drinking. I don't want to be drunk to talk to somebody. I don't want to be high to talk to somebody. I want to be me. But they don't want to hear you because you're telling the truth. And they don't want to hear that either. So you're an outcast. When you deal with the truth, when you deal with reality, you'll be the outcast always. I went to a wedding in Pennsylvania. I was the only there that didn't drink. And I said, well, we can't trust you because you don't drink. Just like that. Well, you're going to be a problem. You don't drink. We can't trust you at all. And that's what they believe. Well, you're not human. You're not this. You're not that.
Wow, that is so messed up.
It's bad. But the old saying: you hang with people you need to hang with. If you hang out with drug addicts, you hang out with millionaires. That's what becomes your reality, not who you are. It's never and to be your higher self, which all these new age people are preaching.
Mm-hmm.
Become your higher self. Raise your vibration. Do this. You can change your. I mean, Caroline Corey was talking about that last night on Ancient Aliens. Change these whatever the light you create in your body is, and you can increase it. Increase it to do what? She goes, I can change DNA of people. You have the right to? Do you really think you have that right? The same as, let's see, Drumville Melchizedek. Oh, no, he's the one that was supposed to bring the aliens from the Earth out, and he never did that.
So then basically, she's boasting about creating more karma for herself.
Yeah, but the other person, let's say, the string theory. Oh, what's his name?
Michio Kaku.
No. The string theory he created. This is oh man, I can't think of his name. It's a Israel name.
Oh, okay.
But he claims he's got the Ark of the Covenant, and he's going to link it with the one that the government has, like there was two, and he's going to change the vibration of the planet, and he believes that, and he was getting money. He was trying to raise $2 million. Really, people that think they're in power are serious problems to themselves. Yes, to the world, but even to themselves. So, I've been on a show. We almost 2 hours, and whoever stayed, and there's people staying, which is fine, which is amazing to me, because most people don't want to hear the truth. They love lies. They love stories. They love things that sound good. I can't tell you anything good because we don't have anything good happening.
Mm-hmm.
We got nothing but serious problems going down every single second right now. The weather's changing. It's going to be dramatic next year, 10 times worse than it is going to be this year. The storms are just coming in, and look what's happening already.
Yep.
How many people died in the United States within the past month? All right, and it's only changing to move into the storms coming in. Sean David Martin, a friend of mine, prophesied they're not going to be called hurricanes, they're going to be called hypercanes, because instead of being 100 miles an hour, they'll be 150 miles an hour, which they're doing. The one storm was up to 150 miles. Luckily, it went down before it hit land. But, I just want to get into one thing that I worked on in my mind just a couple of days ago. When I was in school, back in the old days, I was in 8th grade, whatever. We used to have people from the government come in and talk to us and saying the developments of mankind and showed us videos on the laser, what it's going to be used for, and chemicals that they were using for firemen to keep them from burning up. I said to myself, I was, 12 years old. Now I'm 96. I'm not, no, 69.
I was going to say, wait, tell me, what happened?
I got dyslexic, so I reversed the numbers. But why aren't they spending money to stop fires? Somebody said put a nuclear bomb inside one, and it'll, not a nuclear bomb, but a hydrogen bomb, a proton bomb, or something, where it'll suck everything inside itself. There's many techniques and ideas that they don't work with. Why? Because storms are changing our reality right now. Every fire, every giant fire changes our temperature. And we're creating that. So why don't they spend money trying to stop fires from happening?
Mm-hmm. I mean, just
technology. We'd
yeah.
rather build better weapons to kill people than put out a fire that's going to destroy how many people's houses, farms, and kill people and animals. You know, see what I'm saying? People don't look for good things, no matter how much they say they want world peace and stuff like that. Are they working for it? John Lennon was abducted, people. He was really getting close to creating world peace. I mean, the drug scene started escalating, which I don't think he could stop, but he wanted peace. And he talked about, I mean, his songs, listen to his songs. Imagine no God, all right? But imagine being in harmony with God. That's such a major thing to think about. Thinking we could be actually friends with each other instead of killing each other. You know, it's sad. The government took him out, people, just so you know. That person was programmed in a rehab, the same place that they reprogrammed the guy from. Oh man, I shouldn't say that either.
Yeah.
Well, the person that killed Kennedy's killer, well, he was in a program in this building, programmed how to kill. Hypnosis, you could do anything, people. And I knew that when I was 15 years old. I had everybody in my neighborhood programmed with the word so I could hypnotize them anytime I wanted. And it was real, people. I'd make them do stupid things and things they didn't want to do because everybody else said, make them do this, make them do that. And even my own brother said, that's all fake, that's all fake. I said, no, it's not. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but the powers that be from then to what they can do now with the HARP system, people, HAARP system. They can send signals anywhere on this planet. That's what chemtrails are partially used for. So people, take that knowledge and look it up, find it, work at it. The HARP system is one of the most deadly. It is the most deadliest weapon on the planet. And now that they're playing with CERN, is another real dangerous problem.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. With their recent upgrade, with their new, more powerful magnet,
Right.
now it's probably like 10 times the magnetic field of Earth.
Right.
How have you seen any changes lately? Because they turned that on about
Oh
2
no,
weeks
it's
ago.
dangerous. But
Yeah.
and no lie, I'm gonna say this, people. A friend of mine showed me a video last week inside CERN. Somebody filmed it. All right. A witch ceremony, demon ceremony, where they killed somebody in the ceremony. They smuggled the video out. It's out there online if you want to find it. I'm not going to put it up. I don't want to be snagged with that. But it's out there, people. And CERN is trying to make a hole, black hole, that they can put these spacesuits on and jump in it. And that's what they believe. People, we're digging a hole deeper than, I mean, you talk about a rabbit hole, talk about a hydrogen bomb making a hole. I mean, the hole that we're digging and going into. But people, look, I kept you here long enough today. I hope you got something out of it. People, you want the truth, you want to talk about it, please. Skype, they don't block me yet. I mean, YouTube, I might lose it anytime soon. They blocked me from Link permanently now. I created another name and back in it, but I lost 3,500 people. I got maybe 6 right now. And YouTube gave me a threat. They said one more black mark, I'm losing my whole site. So I mean, I don't care if I do. I mean, I'm still going to put as much truth as I can out without just getting blocked right away. Like I said a lot today, people. You might not believe any of it, but I don't lie. I don't make up stories. Listen to this show again and just listen to this last part, what I'm talking about. All right? Very few souls out there on this planet know half of that or a quarter of that. If you want to know about the Montauk Project, I can talk about it. Not like the people that are writing these books and telling partial stories or making more stories up to make it sound good. All right? There's a danger zone. These UFO people don't know the truth. They all need to get abducted, and they might be a little more aware of what's really happening. To say that the good aliens, there's no good aliens. They have never been on this planet. They destroyed Atlantis. They destroyed everything we worked for. They took the Garden of Eden and made it a hellhole. And they created massive killers. They didn't make us better. They didn't make us. They made us become killers.
Yep.
We didn't eat animals in Atlantis. We didn't talk much. We had psychic abilities. We had all 32 psychic abilities then. And we didn't need space robots, and we didn't need spaceships, and we didn't need any of that. So when people talk about the future and the technology, it takes us further and further away from what soul can do and what it is. Well, it's limited in the physical reality. And the astral plane has got so much more grace and space. And then beyond that, to the next world, the third realm, it becomes incredibly, I'd say, not a billion times, maybe 100 million times better than being here. Seriously, people, death is not the worst thing you could imagine. It's probably the best thing if you could understand it, what's really going to happen. People, I've been there. I had 5 death experiences. I spent half of my life traveling out of my body. I met with deities. I met with angels. I met with creatures. I met with, not creatures, but I met with Satan. Met with Lucifer. Lucifer's an angel. And he still is. He didn't become. And nobody's going to kill him except God. He's there for a reason. Satan's here for a reason. Jesus didn't take Satan out when he could have, or tried, or he couldn't take him out because he didn't. So people, you could read the Bible, you could read whatever you want. Read the Anunnaki story, read all those books. It's not going to help you find God. Thought the Atlantean talked about the 9 council. And there's nine beings that work for the lower realms, which means the astral in this realm, determining if tornadoes and cyclones or whatever's going to happen to the planet is going to happen and why they have to happen. All right. When you say karma and why people don't believe in karma, because it's horrible to see a child die. It's horrible to see a woman get hit by a man. I think that's horrible. And I think sexual abuse, children or women, is the worst crime on this planet. Not murder. Murder, you're being freed from this reality. And when you're in a store that blows up, you can go without suffering. Most people have to suffer years with sickness and everything else. Death is not the problem, people. What you do to create it is. All right? Remember that. So, peace, love, compassion, whatever you want out of life. Don't stop searching. Don't listen to the lies. Thank you, Sasha, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Tommy, for having me.
Great to have you here. Okay, people, enjoy your life, what you can out of it. Send this link to everybody you know. Till next time.
Bye.
Over and out.